And the one last thing, when it comes to modeling, I want to create some cables here, and it will really give that nice last touch to this scene. It's basically ready, but I want some more details popping up, and to really enforce that dieselpunk or cyberpunk or whatever you want feel to it. So we'll add some cables. And up until now, until Blender 2.8, I was using the technique I've shown you with pipes to create cables, but it's a little bit tedious. And right now with the new Blender 2.8, there is a new tool, or rather reworked tool, Grease Pencil. Before it was just to make some notes and something like that, and right now there's a tool Annotate for that. But Grease Pencil is completely new tool for 2D drawing and animation, and I won't go much into the depth with this because it's way out of scope. But I just want to show you how it can be a wonderful helper with curves and cables and stuff like this. And we'll start by adding cursor to the electric pole here, because I want the cable to start there. So let's just add the cursor here. And first we'll create some basic geometry, and I will explain why in a second. So let's just add a single vert, mesh and single vert. And right now make sure you're in the vertex select mode, and let's press E and Z to extrude this down. Let's select all, let's go to the top view, and let's press E to extrude towards the sign here, maybe a little bit to the back. Right, and right now we can move this a little bit down with G and Z. And this is basically because we will now be able to draw on this plane. So there are multiple modes how you can use a Grease Pencil. One of them is just to paint wherever you want, and it will snap to the cursor plane, and I will show you that later. But one of them is to actually draw on the geometry. So let's step out and let's add a Grease Pencil object here. So if you press Shift A, locate the Grease Pencil, you can select blank. And right now we're in the object mode, and if you go into the edit mode, it's not the same. You want to go to the draw mode. So let's go here and select the draw from the drop down menu here, and right away you can start drawing if you want, or you can use some tools that are here. If you start drawing just like that, you will see that it draws where the 3D cursor is, and basically it's aligned to the camera plane. So when I draw like this, right now it stays where the cursor is, and again it copies the rotation of the camera at the moment of drawing. So if you draw from the top, you get something like this. So it's very easy to draw in the 3D space like that, but if you want to be precise and connect some particular dots, you can use not origin but the surface option here where the stroke placement is. So let's click here and switch this to the surface, and right now if you draw, you can draw on the surface, and basically it will draw to every surface you come across. So if you draw a line here, you might think it's a straight line, but if you look closer, you copied the geometry. So this can be used to lay cables on the floor or do some other crazy stuff. It's perfect for creating a geometry like that. And of course you can use the free drawing, so we can just click here and start drawing some cables. No problem with that, but we can use some helpers like an arc here. So if you click here, you can basically drag an arc all the way up until here, and right now you can drag this down and create perfect curve. You press enter and you have your first curve. And right now, let's just continue with adding some more arcs. I want to be a little bit more complex. So let's add another one here. Let's press enter. And I want another one like this. Okay, and right now we can go to the object mode, and you can see Grease Pencil is an object in the scene like every other object, so if you grab it you can move it in the 3D space wherever you want, but it's basically a 2D stroke that can be edited. And if you go to the edit mode, you can modify the points of the stroke. Now I want to modify this plane here because I want other cables to be connected to this sign here. So let's just edit this, select these two vertices, go to the top view, and right now connect it here, maybe here. Okay, and let's bring this a little bit down. Okay, now we can select the existing Grease Pencil object, just go into the draw mode and start drawing some new arcs on this plane as well. So let's draw one here. Another one, and maybe one more, and that'll be enough. Okay, and let's confirm with enter, and right now we can just delete this plane and we have some nice Grease Pencil curves, but we won't convert them to a geometry just about yet. I want to make some cables all over the scene, and mostly down here. I want some cables to be hanging from these details, from these structures underneath, and we can use the other method I was talking about where we just place the cursor. So let's just place cursor somewhere here in the middle. Okay, I placed it on the box there, and now we can go into the draw mode again and switch this to 3D cursor and leave this as a view, or basically you can select whatever plane you want to use. You can use the cursor plane if you want, so basically you can use the front and draw like this, whatever you need. So let's select view, and right now go to the front view, wireframe, and I want to draw some arcs here. And if you want some more variation, you can always use numbers 4 and 6 on the numpad to rotate your view. So if you press number 4, let me first confirm this. If you press number 4, you will rotate your scene, and if you switch back to the ortho by pressing 5, you can now rotate around your scene like this with numbers 4 and 6. So you can rotate this a little bit and draw another arc there, confirm, then rotate again a little bit, make some here in the front, confirm, rotate again, maybe make a larger one, And then we can use maybe some freeform, so they are not so perfect. So you can switch to draw and just draw some hanging cables. Sorry for my awful drawing. And you can of course use line to just draw some hanging pieces here and there. And press enter, draw another one. So this is another place where you can go really creative, and right now you can see we have nice cables in place all over in the 3D space made with Grease Pencil. And right now I just want to repeat this for the second platform. So let's move a little bit closer and maybe place the cursor right here again. Right now we can go front and start drawing. Something like this. Maybe switch to arc. And do something. Okay, and I want to add one here. And one here as well. And here. Okay, and we can use some line tools to create just some hanging cables. Okay, and this looks very nice. Now I'm not sure about this one here, so let me get back to the edit mode and just delete the points. So you can see you can edit this like a curve, and then go to the back to the drawing mode and continue freeform drawing. Now I want to move cursor to this wireframe structure here, so let me add the cursor there. Go to the front view, and I want to add some arcs there, like this, and like this, and one more. Okay, and maybe one line. Nice one. Now let's add some to the car as well, since it's using the same technology that the rest of the flying objects here. We can add a cursor to the car, go to the side view, and maybe add some quick arcs. You don't have to go crazy here, it's a car after all, but yeah, we can add some nice detail with this. And let's add some line. I like that, but maybe let's just rotate the view and create some in 3D space as well, so it's not that uniform. Okay, like this. Let me check this. Okay, I think it's all right. Maybe I went a little bit too over the top. So let me go into the edit mode and maybe delete this one here. And of course you can do things like rotation, so you can rotate those already created. If you want to give it some more variation, press R, then Z, rotate. Okay, so these are our cables for the whole scene. And again, remember, I'm doing them as a one object because this is a really static scene. But if I wanted to animate it or something like this and I wanted to separate it, I could always just separate some parts into new objects and use it like that. So no problem with that. Okay, first of all, let me just select this and let's convert it. But don't use the quick menu curve from mesh because this is not a mesh, this is a grease pencil. So you can go to object, convert to, and you can see there is a new option here. And yeah, we can convert to Bezier curve. Right now it's placed in the car collection, which I don't want. So let's move it up. But I want to point out that there is a new object here called primitives, because the conversion from the green pencil will not convert the object itself, but it will create a new one. So basically we have an original grease pencil object and we have primitives object, which is our curves. And right now we can select two of those and move them into the main collection. And we can disable and hide the grease pencil object. We can leave it for later use. Right now you can see the cables better, but still, if you would edit them, there are lots of points since it was made by drawing. And we can of course simplify that, and we'll use one last add-on for this episode. So if you go to the preferences, you can search for simplify, and there will be an option called add curve, simplify curves, and just check it and enable this add-on. And this add-on works as adding a new object. So let's press Shift A, and under the curve you will see there's a curve simplify. You will click that, the new object will be created for you, and here are some options for you which you can modify. And you can increase the tolerance for error, and if you look from the side you will see as you increase the tolerance there are less and less endpoints generated and the curves get much simpler and simpler. So I don't know, let's try something like something around 0.1, and if you now edit you will see there are only necessary points in the place. And again, you can further modify them, so you can drag the handles and modify the cables, which is very useful because when you go here, and let me just hide these primitives, and let's disable it and hide it away so we have only the actual cables in place. If you would want to edit this, for example, this is too high up, so we can just select the points and grab it a little bit down or into the board, so it makes sense and it's properly connected how you want it. And basically here as well you can just select those and grab them somewhere else. So yeah, and this one maybe should be a little bit higher. Okay, and I really like this. And right now it's the easiest thing in the world. Just go into the object data here and create some curve geometry. So as you know, you can adjust the bevel to 0.01, and we can go all the way down to the one with the resolution. And there you go, some nice cables in your scene. And again, you can always go around and make some adjustments as you need. So if for some reason you missed some cable, or it's peeking out of some structure, or going through something you don't want it to go, you can always just go in, press L to select linked on this one, and you can move it somewhere else. So yeah, this is the perfect way how to add some details to the scene like this. And congratulations, because the modeling is now done. We finished the scene, and right now it's just about adding some materials and playing with the render settings, and we'll be finished. So let's move on to some shading and materials.